What's poppin', y'all? It's Colonel Tommy with episode 6 on our road from Scrub to God Tier Programmer. Alright, so I'm just gonna get right into it because this one is actually really easy. So, this one is called Sparse Arrays, and I'll go through the instructions real quick. So, there's a collection of input strings and a collection of query strings. For each query string, determine how many times it occurs in the list of input strings. Return an array of the results. Alright, that sounds like word spaghetti, so let's try and break it down. So, we have this example here. There's this array of strings. You got AB, AB, and then ABC. So you got three different strings. And then we got queries, which is also another array of strings. And this one has three strings as well. This one is AB, ABC, and BC. So there are two instances of AB in the strings, and then there's one instance of ABC in strings, but there's 0 instances of BC. So, and for each query, add an element to return to the return array. So basically, these is what it's looking for. So for each query, you're going to look through the strings and count how many times it occurs. So let's start with AB. So in strings, there is one AB, two AB, and then the third one's ABC. So that one doesn't count. So AB occurs 2 times. So that's why for the first index of the results array, or index 0 I should say, it's going to be 2 because there was 2 instances of AB in the strings. So for the next query, it's ABC. So we're looking for ABC in the strings array. So the first one's AB, nope. AB, nope. There's one ABC in the strings. So for the index 1 of the queries array, we're going to have a 1 in the index of 1 for the results because there was one ABC in the strings. Now for the last one, for BC, we're going to look in the strings array for BC. There's no BC, so that's AB, nope. AB, nope. ABC, nope. So there's no instances of BC in the strings array. So for the same index as BC, for the result index, we're going to put 0 because we found nothing, no BCs in the strings. And then once you do that, all you gotta do is return the results. And I'm not even going to go through the rest because it's that simple. Alright, so first off, we need somewhere to store our results. So let's get that declared. So we're going to do a list integer, because it's going to be just a list of integers. It's going to be called results, new array list integer, and that's it. Now we got a new list with results. It's just empty right now, but now we're going to go through each of the queries one by one, just how we're doing this. So for each query, we're going to go loop through the strings like we did. So like for query 1, we're going to check AB, AB, AB. Yep, there's 2 ABs. Okay. Then we're going to go to the next query. Check if there's any ABCs. Nope, nope, yes. Okay, and then we go to the next one. BC, no BC, no BC. So if you see there, we're going through each query. For each query, we're checking the strings array. So we're looking at nested loops here. So since we were going through the queries first, so that's what we're going to do first. So we're going to do a for loop. We're going to do for int I is equal to 0. Well, I is less than queries dot size because it's a list, and then I plus plus. It's just something uh, don't normally just it's a common mistake. Um, Arrays are often use length, and lists use size the uh, for the number of elements in the list or array. So, and for array, I believe is not a method, so you wouldn't have the parentheses at the end. But for list, size is a method, so you have the parentheses at the end. Okay, so now we're looping through each query. Okay, so we need to make a placeholder for our first results for our first query. So we need to add a new integer to our array or list. So we're going to add, so for the results list, we're going to add 0 because we haven't found any queries yet. Okay, so that's going to be in the first index 0 of the results rate is going to be 0. So now we're going to do another for loop. And we're going to do int j equals 0. J is less than. So we're going through the strings now, right? And same thing, strings dot size with the parentheses, and then j plus plus. Okay, now we got nested loop here. Alright, what's next? So we're saying we're going from AB, we're checking each one of these strings. Okay, if we find anything, we count them. If not, we move on to we move on to the next one. Count all the occurrences, move on to the next one, count all the occurrences. So there's a check in between here. So we need to check, hey, is this query equal to this one? If it is, then we count. We add 1 to our counter for it. And then, okay, if it's not, we don't. So in this case, we would add 1 to our counter. Okay, let's check the next one. Oh, another match, so we add 1 to our counter. Oh, no match, we don't add anything. So there's going to be an if statement. So we're checking that query, the query we're on. So we're going to get I because that's the query we're currently on. And then we're going to do, for strings, you can do dot equals to compare them. Okay, and then what you're going to do is in parentheses, you're going to do the string you're comparing to, which is going to be strings dot get j. Okay, make sure you got all your parentheses in. So you've got, and it gets a little bit confusing. So you need the parentheses for your inside for the get, and then you got your parentheses for the equals, and then you got the parentheses for the if statement. So make sure you got all those. And then inside this if statement, so this checks if the current query we're on is equal to the string we're looking at. So like we're checking, so if this is the first loop through, we're checking if AB equals AB, which it is. So what would we do in that instance? Well, we need to update our results for that index we're on. And it's going to be the same index that is for this query that we're on. So what that means is we're going to do results for our array list, and we're going to do set because that's how you. So set for array list takes in the index you're setting the value to. So we're going to set the index of the query we're on, which is I. Just remember I is for the query index. And then we're going to set it to the second value is what we're setting it to. Well, we want to increment it by 1. So we basically want to set whatever's in results at that index and then add 1 to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do results.get I. That's going to get the value that it currently is at that index, and then we're going to add 1 to it. So we're going to set it to itself plus 1. And then, so let's just do a quick check to make sure our logic's right. So, say we're doing this. Let me scoot this over. See a bit better. And so first we create our results. It's empty results array list. Alright, we're gonna start looping through our query. So at the first query, we're right here. So that's the first loop through, so we're at AB. Okay, so we're gonna add a 0 to our results array list. Okay, so now we have this. This would be our results, and we'd only have one index. So it'd be 0. The first index 0 would equal 0. Okay. So now we're going to go through the strings. For each query, we're going to loop through the strings array or array list and check to see if there's any instances of the query we're on. So we do a for loop through the strings array list, and then so now we're gonna loop through these for each query. So we're gonna check if the current query we're on equals the current string we're on. So I would be 0, J would be 0. So I's the query, so AB. And we're checking if that's equal to index 0 of the strings array, which is index 0, so we're checking these two. If they're the same, which they are, we're setting the results at the index I, which is the query index. So that would be, so the current query we're on is 0, so it's setting the results index 0 to the new value, which is going to be itself, which is currently 0. And then we're going to add 1 to it. So it's going to set it from 0 to 1. Okay. And then it goes on to the next. It loops through again on the J. So it incremented. So it's now it's J is equal to 1. I is 0 still. J is 1. So we're still on query AB, but now we're on strings is on index 1. So we're on AB. We compare them, check to see if they're equal. Okay, they're equal. So we're going to increment our results by 1, which would be, it's already at 1 right now. So we're going to increment it, and it's going to be 2. And then it's going to loop through the J loop again, which means we're going to be on index 2 for the strings array. Still on query 0, query index 0, which is AB. And we're going to compare these again. AB equal to ABC? Nope. So we're not going to increment. And then then that's the end of the strings array. So it's going to go back into the queries array, query loop, and now the query loop is going to increment by 1. So now I is going to equal to 1. It's going to add a new result which would put it, since we already have 1 at 0, it's going to add 1 to the next spot, which is going to be index 1 of the results array. It's going to have 0. And then it's going to do the exact same thing except for A, B, C. So it's going to check to see if these are equal. Nope. Check if these are equal. Nope. And then, oh, these two are equal, so it's going to increment the index of 1 by 1 for the results array. And on and on and on until you get the results, which if it was this case, it'd be 2, 1, 0. So now all we have to do is return results. And that's it. Let's submit it. Make sure it works. Yep, all the tests passed. And that's it. It's that simple. It's a little bit confusing. It helps to kind of step through like I just did to make sure your logic's right, because it can get confusing when nesting loops. But that's all there is to it. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.